buddy on me. We're going to talk more about that, though, in a few minutes because we've got a sponsor that we have to hear from right now. So we'll be right back.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And we are back. Joe, where'd we leave off?
We left off with Aldi's with you with the wine and, trying to disguise yourself to get more bottles.
Well, the bad thing is, I had my roommate behind me with all the wine in her basket. I had all the wine in my basket. We were careful not to go past that 2-bottle limit of the same flavor. But the cashier was a little miffed when she came through, and I turned around and said, "Don't worry about it, I'll get it."
Way to break the system, Katie. Well, I think it's interesting you mentioned the limit on wine, because that's the first place I've heard that had limit on wine. Because since this whole thing, and I have to say once again, I feel bad for the bars that opened and had to reclose again, that alcohol sales have gone booming outside the thing. So could it be Aldi's just seeing that your $2 or $2.50 wine is going faster than, say, the $5, $10 wine?
Oh, I think that's very much a reality. I think having to order quickly was difficult for them. So in order to keep the shelves with something on it. But that's okay. I don't mind, because I only buy like that once in a blue moon, and I usually only get what I need. And I think there should be product left on the shelf for someone else, no matter whether it's wine or toilet paper. You got to have both. Be kind. Rewind.
You could drink while you're pooping on the toilet. That's a great.
Thank you for that visual.
Yeah, you're great. That's awesome. So I think this is great, too, as we were talking about it. And I know different areas have different school systems all over the place and when they go back. But school for us is starting up soon. And with that being said, they're guesstimating that school sales have gone down because they don't even know if the school's going to go back or not in any shape or form.
So all these big high tuitions that everybody's paying, they're paying for online classes. This is ridiculous. You have an instructor who shows up once a week, twice a week, grades your papers. Kind of like going to college.
Yeah. Well, when you went to college, you obviously this isn't just for college. This is for anything, whether it's high school, middle school, whatever. But if we're talking about the college level, college, you think about you're paying for your dorm, you're paying for your food, you got to pay for all like the necessities to what you need to do, and then you have to pay for your books. But obviously, if everything's going online, do we even need to buy books anymore? Can everything just be digital and you just buy a cheaper digital version?
Well, it's not even a matter of buying a cheaper digital version. You're going to have to buy a computer if you've never used one or don't have one. Or you got to go to the library. Oh, no, can't do that. That's social distancing again.
No, libraries are open, I thought.
Well, they're open, but there's social distancing.
Well, yeah.
So only so many can be on a computer at a time. They only have so many computers, and I guarantee you they're not putting you side to side.
That's true. That's true. But it's just interesting to see how, if all said is done, if school's actually going to open or not. But we'll see how the back-to-school sales come through, because, like I said, they're already declaring that they're already low than they used to be. And right now I just got the ad from a local brand name that says 50-cent composition books and everything else at this time of the year. So I know I'm going to go get my composition books, and I use them to write in. So why not?
Why not? Well, we've got a few minutes of everyone's attention. We want to talk a little bit about Society Bites Radio. If you go to www, which hardly anybody ever uses anymore, but .societybitesradio.com, and that's BYTES, you can find Joe's show, Socially Joe, under the Community tab. Socially Joe is about Joe Rigio, who will talk with local business owners on the struggles they had to overcome to become successful in what they do. Tips and tricks to help your business grow. Information to look at in certain industries. But wait, there's more. Joe Rigio is very passionate about helping out our local 501c3s, our non-for-profit charities as well. Joe will bring these non-for-profits on the show. Joe, tell us a little bit about some of your guests and who they are.
So right now, I just released episode 21 of Society Bites, so I'm getting close to the big 25. Woo!
Yes, you are.
So the recent episode I just released with all my guests listening to it is episode 20, even though 21 just came out, but I'm going to release that soon. But 20 just came out, and it was with Bill Burke with Mirasol Solar, and we talked about solar power. What's the benefits of solar? Why do we have it? How you can benefit from it in so many different ways. I also have had Turning Points on, which is a local nonprofit which helps homelessness and tries to get people off the streets and even pre-homelessness to make sure they're off there. I've talked to Satchels, which is a no-kills shelter. I've had Tati Jadu, which also has a show on here in Society Bites Radio, and she was talking about business owners and what they know and do, and with her Jadu technique styles and whatnot. I just love to have these different people on my shows because it's all information. It's a non-selling platform. I want to make sure information is given where it has to be given. And if you want to learn more, obviously my guests leave their contact information that I ask that you reach out to them and, schedule like a little meeting with them, socially distanced, phone
Absolutely.
call.
Tell us who's coming up.
Oh, the episode 21 or episode...
The other episodes. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, who have you got coming on the show?
Oh, actually, that's still waiting. I have a few people that I have to work on right now, but I have one nonprofit in mind coming up. I don't want to release their name just yet because just in case if I have to reschedule. So, but I did have great debate about my episode 25, and I'm going to make it grandeur. And I think I'm going to have a prize to be given away on the 25th. And when it gets released out there, there's going to be a contest, and I'm going to see how many people really want this prize.
All right. That sounds like a good idea. Well, congratulations on your upcoming 25th episode, and we'll be very anxiously awaiting find out what that prize is.
I know, and I feel like I'm 25 again. Even though I'm 45, I feel like I'm 25 all over again. I love it.
Well, you've got something to be excited about. I think that's what a lot of people are missing these days is things to get excited about. The depression is at an all-time high. The discourse in people, everybody's in a foul mood. Everybody is just very unhappy. And it stands to reason. We've all been cooped up for quite a while. We're about done with this.
Oh, yeah.
It's very difficult. I am a touchy-feely, huggy kind of person, and I love being with other people, and I have missed it horribly. I know I'm not the only one. And when people lose that human contact, it adds to the depression. It's terrible.
So how would you feel like, just if we were going back to the airplane movie, I came over and shook you and smacked you, would that be a human touch right there? Be like, hey, did you miss me?
Well, I believe in reciprocation.
Oh, good. I expect it.
And I think most people do, and that's why we are kind of having the problems we're having now.
That's great. I love it. I love Katie. She's a great co-host. I love her so much.
It's just because I won't take crap.
I know. That's why I love it.
I've had enough thrown at me over the years that I pretty well stand on my own where that goes.
Yeah, me, I'll stand on my own, but I'm the fish. I'm the Pisces. I just go with the flow. So I'm just like, and I just walk away.
Well, now you've got a real good handle on who our host is. But you know what? There's a lot more to Joe than meets the eye. And we have so many wonderful hosts at Society Bites Radio. Check out Let's Talk Pets with Patty Giarrusso. She heads up the Lost Pets 411 here in Manatee County and Sarasota County, works very closely with all the animal sanctuaries. You can also hear Circus Arts, and you'll find out about what it was like when Toby Tyler ran away and joined the circus. Now, for those of you young folks out there that are listening to this, Toby Tyler was a story that we had to read in grade school, and it was an annual book. And it was the cutest thing in the world. So if you haven't read it, go read it. It's good.
I've never heard that book, so I'm going to check it out. But I remember I had to read Island of the Blue Dolphin, Where the Red Fern Grows, all that lovely books.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's, Toby Tyler's in there, too, but he's more second grade. But we're glad to know you made it to the fourth grade.
Hey, I made the BFA level.
Hey, and if you like talk shows as much as we do, make sure you listen to With Good Reason on the weekends. That's a great show.
What about Toddy? Toddy's a really good one.
Toddy, she's awesome. She has the Jadu lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And you can find out all about that. She's wonderful. She mixes East Indian healing with regular therapeutic physical therapy that you would normally go to a doctor for here, but she mixes in a little bit of her culture, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm a good client by her, and I have used her a couple times, and basically every time I'm done with the session, I feel so much better. And I feel taller, too.
Well, she does have a tendency to work you into shape. I'll give you that.
Well, she does do the putty type thing where melt you.
Well, and, there's just so many things to talk about here. Next week, I think we're going to have a new guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is, just in case of a cancellation.
Hey, that's my line.
Hey, I love that. It works. But we've got some other upcoming guests for you that I think you're going to enjoy. We have comics that come on the show. We have Paul Anthony with Jazz Unlimited that I know you folks are going to enjoy. We're going to get some of these folks to do an interview with us on our show. So stay tuned. Keep us in your thoughts. Keep listening. And we're down to a couple of minutes here. So, Joe?
So with that, since we're down to our last couple minutes, we want to invite, as I know Katie had mentioned earlier, please contact us to, with your little Kiss My Keister gripes. We love to hear them and, get your stories on here to see how we can, talk about these things. Because obviously the internet gives us a lot of articles, but we're very limited what we can find.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, seriously, we can't. Like the giant wasps and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I just found that last night on one of the major networks. So.
Yeah, and I'll leave you with a final thought here on our COVID, because I think next week we need to come up with something a little more entertaining.
Well, I think I'll come in with my mask and you'll hear me all.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Our last thought on COVID is now that the government has decided that your air conditioner is making you sick. They have decided that air conditioning units can spread COVID-19. So, can you think of any way else to beat the heat?
Well, they were saying that was going to be Texas, California, and Florida were the big hot states, and even
that would be us.
Yeah. And basically, we're indoors. We have the AC running and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see if the restaurants stay open or if they're going to be closed. They did mention some restaurants were thinking about putting some ozone cleaners and machines in their thing. But how much more money is that going to cost them? And is it worth running it versus this? So interesting things.
It all goes to show you that you just can't count on anything.
Well, I don't know. Maybe time. Time's the only thing you really count on.
Hey, speaking of time, we're down to about a minute, 30 seconds left. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today.